Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this live webinar today. Thank you so much for joining and spending your time, allocating your time for this webinar. Appreciate that. Topic of today. This is Krishna Chekuri from Sailotech. Um, without any further ado, let's get on to the agenda of this webinar today. Basically, the topic of the webinar is end-to-end testing with TestEnsure. So TestEnsure is a platform or product, test automation product that we have at Sailotech that we have developed over past couple of years, and we have been testing the software as well, and making sure it is working for all the pain areas requirements from testing perspective. So that being said, the most important thing in testing life cycle is the end-to-end testing, right? So as you can see on the slide, the pyramid, right? The famous pyramid that we see here, it needs no introduction, right? So how the how the testing is divided. Basically, the test cases are divided to make sure we are uh, covering everything, right? So the first comes obviously unit tests, then integration, then end-to-end, and of course the functional is part of that as well, right? So that's pretty much everything, and then end-to-end is at the top top portion of the pyramid, and as we are progressing to the top, the cost of doing this testing also increases because of the complexity and also the time consumption. So unit tests obviously doesn't take too long, right? So in compared to end-to-end scenario testing, user scenario, right? End-to-end scenario is nothing but the user real-world scenario that we want. We are replicating or simulating in test environment, and trying to make sure that these scenarios work. So the main purpose is to test from end user experience by simulating the real user scenario and validating the system under the test and its components for the integration, integrity, data integrity, and integration, all the setup configurations, interfaces, all that are supposed to be there are configured properly and working properly. Because any one of these pieces doesn't work as expected, obviously the end-to-end scenario fails, and thereby you will give it will raise a lot of issues. And everything is done in a non-prod environment before it's released to production to ensure that is not happening, or that will never happen in production, right? So it's a end-to-end testing again. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir. I don't know who the actual audience are, but for someone who doesn't, who's not familiar with, or just in general, right? On the high level, is a technique that tests the entire software product from the beginning to the end, right? That's the end to end, and the application flow, is behaving as expected, and any dependencies ensures all integrated pieces are working together expected. That's pretty much it. So for in order to do the, I mean, this is what end-to-end testing is, right? But for in order to get there, first you need to we need to have the goals of the test automation in the first place, right? It is very critical step before we moving ahead with automation development, or in the initiative, or driving these automation efforts. you know like what would be the base minimum percentage of application we need to be testing. Obviously for that you need to identify the critical end-to-end scenarios or critical functionality, which is like a critical piece, high priority, high severity of the functionality, which that cannot be compromised, or user experience has to be top notch and no issues. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of downtime in fixing, and also the business is going to be affected, right? So that is the main thing, and then when you are and obviously all this, if you have like 20 business users, uh, in general the end-to-end testing is typically done by users in UAT, but that is kind of moving towards before that as well, because by the time we hit UAT, typically in SDLC, that's when the system is like ready to go live, right? I mean, the timing wise, right? Just before release, maybe a week before release. And if you start doing end-to-end testing then, and you encounter, or you, I mean, I'm just saying you because like in general, but when user starts encountering some major issues or gotchas, then obviously there's the fire drill, and then you have to fix all those before you move into production, promote it to production. So what happens is the release cycle gets extended, or you just burn out, the people gets burnt out. And then uh, when you are doing a rush job, lot of, even you put in a lot of people, it's always the case that something is missed, because that's how that's how it is, right? That's how it is. So why I'm saying that is, uh, when you are doing this, we have to make sure the end-to-end testing is happening very early on. So you test everything, you get the scenarios from the, when the start of the sprint itself, whether it's a feature release or a patch, you get these scenarios prior. Basically that's where what I call the engagement of the automation or team or scrum team, agile team, working with the business analysts or the business, in liaison, and getting those that information prior to, instead of waiting until the last minute and uh, running into issues. So test everything, test every time, test early, test continuously. I'll get there. How it is, end-to-end testing is done, or basically you are trying to fail fast very early on, and all the broken pieces, missing pieces, or weakest links in the system, all that will be encountered early on if you are doing this unplanned. That involves a lot of planning. So benefits, and numerous benefits to I've already mentioned some of them, right? So basically resolve issues before users are impacted, when it's going in live, and then your functionality that's supposed to work is not working. I know that should not happen, and that would never, that's a nightmare, and for everyone. So that's one thing. And then improve test coverage. The coverage improves like a whole lot when you are testing end to end, because end to end testing is end-to-end. Basically, it touches usually most of the modules, or many modules in the application or in the applications, because end-to-end is not necessarily testing one application. It can involve testing multiple applications. Like for example, we had one of the clients, I cannot take the name, but it's a payment gateway, and we were in charge of test automation. We were doing automation for them, and we have built the framework such a way that we have used the modular utilities, and created these end-to-end regression scenarios, which is part of regression suite, and which involved in multiple applications, like from the the ERP to the what you call the dispute management system, and then downstream approval system. There is one approval system. So a lot of things were involved, where you had API testing involved as part of end to end, and also the chargeback system that gets the basically the client gets some chargeback or something like that, so that credited or that's at the end of it. So you have multiple steps system that you touch, like 3 points of touching in the flow, where that has to be, if one thing is not working, obviously the whole system fails. And we made sure that didn't happen in production. So identifying that's a coverage, identify issues with workflows in application early on, and then reduce the time to market. So when you do this early on, then you can have that dialogue engagement with the business as well, users as well, and they can provide us in us, meaning I talk to like a IT automation team, Scrum Agile team perspective, right? So and then that dialogue and that improvements can happen if you have that, if you leverage the time. So and then obviously reduce time to market. So we are not doing this in the edge of in the nick of the moment before the release. So we are doing it way before. So you have some breathing space to fix, address, troubleshoot, fix, and address those issues that have been identified, right? And that's right there, cost savings, right? Cost savings, huge cost savings, as we know. The amount of expense that basically cost to fix a bug in production versus in QA is enormous, like is exponential. You can multiplier of, let's say, 100 maybe, right? Because you're not just spending time for that, but you have to add the lost revenue as well. So which depends on the type of the bug that has been encountered in production. So yeah, so then that basically, you at the end of it, everything whatever we do, the basic, the core objective is customer delight, right? So all the systems are in place, the applications are working as supposed to work to run the business. So IT is just you're supporting the business to be successful, right? So that is the backbone. So, and the business success factor depends on the application availability and the functionality availability 24/7 without any issues. So that will return in customer delight. So that's pretty much some of the what you call benefits of end-to-end testing, right? So and functional versus end-to-end test. So I think most of the people know, but we can just go through some, right? So it's functional is just a piece of functionality you're testing in an application, which like as a ad hoc or standalone, right? In a silo, right? Whereas end-to-end is covering everything. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. And then the process, we're testing the process, the user, the flow, the workflow, and all in an end-to-end. Whereas this just functional testing is just limited to for input and output. Just one, like you are able to log in. Sorry, the acceptance criteria is as a user with such and such security role is able to log in, and yeah, I'm able to log in. So that ends the functional test. I mean, just an example. So it's very limited, very limited to. Of course, functional tests are very very important. So end-to-end tests, will only work if the function tests are working, right? If I'm not able to log in, how am I able to how I can do end-to-end tests, right? So that's a no-brainer. So, and then most important things. One of the important things is the data required for end-to-end tests. Enormous. Usually for a critical applications for a big enterprise. There's so much of data that needs to be data readiness of the non-prod environment where the end-to-end testing is happening is enormous. So that is if that under many a times that always overlooked and with I mean that's my experience in the past working with the clients uh, that under the data sets are very important and that should be that I mean you have to keep in mind before you even start your sprint planning, right? I mean that's a part of sprint planning as well. And of course should not focus on just UI testing and it's should be focused on the flows. I think I've talked about that enough. Right, so moving on. So that we have covered basically what end-to-end testing is and why it is required and what are the benefits of end-to-end testing and why is it so important, right? And in order to achieve end-to-end, we have to fail fast and making sure the application is working, right? And you use what you see is a TestEnsure. Of course, I'm just not just talking about like end-to-end testing 101. It's most of the people know what I have talked about or went over the points for on testing and automation in the last 15 minutes or so. But I'm here to also introduce the product that we have at Sailotech, that's TestEnsure, which basically enables to do the end-to-end testing very seamlessly, I would say, because of how it has been developed. I mean, the TestEnsure platform has been developed by our team, by us, with the real world, after getting the real world experience, using a lot of low code, no code tools, a lot of lot of other paid licensed tools as well. So we have a team of automation engineers as well as business side ERP or business professionals with functional, techno-functional expertise. So getting the inputs from them. So all that culmination of that, we arrived at TestEnsure, right? So it's a low code, low code. I would say I am hard to say no code. It's a low code, open source, scalable test automation solution that we're offering, right? So you can do API testing, desktop tests, mobile apps, basically automated testing with a wide range of business critical applications such as I just gave you an example of a dispute management system or payment gateway or to name a few, right? So you'll be able to derive the quantifiable benefits and as well as a greater ROI using the TestEnsure, right? So we talked about end-to-end testing and how it is important and a part of that is continuous delivery and deployment, right? I mean integration and delivery and deployment, and basically this TestEnsure is a CI/CD pipeline built and with integrated with seamless reporting, execution, so transparency, accuracy, accountability, and traceability. So all that is built into TestEnsure. So as a user, as simple as once you log in based on your role, be it a QA analyst, QA automation just as a management who wants to take a look at the execution release execution status, the health of the system or health of the application that is under test. All that is in one stop shop. So I would say it's one stop shop for test automation, be it a function test or end to end, right? So that kind of helps very much to manage the automation in the or testing part of in the SDLC, right? So it enables the team to build ready production ready application quicker, and basically it is it's a robust test automation uh, solution that enables you to achieve the all the benefits of and ROI of automation, right? That you can realize that. So, so I mean, that's very high level of what the TestEnsure is, and then obviously, I know I talked about the core features. Basically, what you get from TestEnsure, it's uh, test requirements management, dashboards and traceability, execution analytics metrics, where you have the dashboards to view the real time where the things are and what has failed, what has passed in your modules or in application, and most importantly the very low maintenance, because all the everything is the framework is built such a way that most of the coding doesn't have to happen at all. It is basically updating a JSON. If there's some change in a test case or flow in your scenario, or any new field got added or whatever assertion or validation has to happen, that can be maintained very easily. So, and then obviously scalable parallel execution, be it with the browser stack or source lab. So that integrations are there. So I mean, and one of the core things I is the tagging and the grouping of the test cases. So one of the examples I would like to take here is the one that I come back to every time is we have developed a regression suite of about 8,000 test cases, right? So over the course of like 2 years or so, that's where we ended up having 8,000 odd test cases for the multitude of applications in one of the payment gateway companies that we work with. So, and then very aggressive release cycles, and that cannot. And when you try to do a regression for 8,000 scenarios, just you can imagine how tedious it can be, right? So and also very intensive, labor intensive. Even if with automation, if you cannot achieve 8,000 in if you want to release very in a week or in a couple of days. So why I'm saying that is tagging and grouping, right? So tagging and grouping is basically for every test case there is a tag or identifier. Tag is nothing but an identifier, and grouping is also kind of how you bucket that group of test cases into a bucket, right? So maybe payment, that would be a group, or a chargeback, that can be a one group, or shopping cart, and so on and so forth, right? Arbitration. So all these test cases can be grouped and tagged accordingly, and then when you want to execute, you can pick and choose what more like it's like a surgical or a surgical strike of the test cases, where you localize to the impacted scenarios itself. So you want to not test everything, the whole 8,000, but restrict yourself to maybe just 200 that falls under P1 category, or like that. So, or just you want to take the chargeback scenarios, because that's a core function feature that is going to be changed. So you have that flexibility by with TestEnsure to only execute what you want to execute, which gives more value and in the given time. And of course, once that is taken care of, you can always execute and also do the parallel execution. So thereby you are achieving, like, you have more value for what you have, right? So that those are some of the things, that TestEnsure has to offer, right? And then obviously this cannot be achieved without a CI/CD. So for end-to-end testing, so this is a very high level, that what you see, how it is. And then basically how it's done, basically a Git repository or existing one is created, then the dev team who is working would commit the code to dev branch, and then automatically the pipeline is built in Jenkins here, which will fetch the code from the Git and map to the job that is enabled for a specific task, right? So then basically that is picked up, and the smoke suite is executed. And then when the smoke suite is successful, then the notifications are sent, and then it's moved up to the upper environment, whatever it is going to be, from dev to QA1 or QA2 and UAT, so on and so forth. And then based on the tagging and all that, what you have selected, that is in TestEnsure for that release, those test cases would be executed, and the reports will be reports, and the screenshots, all that would be automatically saved. And then whoever wants to take a look at it for troubleshooting, or for the just to for checking the status of it, be it management, be it a developer who needs to take a look at the bug and troubleshoot, that enables him or her very quickly go through the report and see where exactly something got failed, and that will eliminate a lot of back and forth and confusion. So it will reduce a lot of confusion that way. And then all that culmination of everything is basically you are able to achieve continuous integration, delivery, and deployment. So this cycle can be, of course, it's always room for improvement, and so it's basically continuous process improvements, as we can say. So we take that very seriously, and then we keep on improving our product in such a way that we achieve those common objectives for test automation. So this is a very, I think I've taken a good amount of time here today with the end-to-end testing, and the benefits, and how it is done, and how using TestEnsure, how it can be achieved. So, and I think we are ending the time, or getting to the end of this webinar. And definitely we will have multiple sessions where we will show real time how the TestEnsure, how all this is achieved using TestEnsure, maybe with running through some demo scenarios and stuff like that. So how the reports are generated, and what you have in the reports, and all that information can be provided in subsequent webinars. So that's about it. Thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, we can quickly take, or feel free to drop a message with your questions, and we'll definitely get back to you. Or if you are requesting a demo, we can do that. We can schedule it and do a separate demo for anyone who is interested. Thank you.